Have you ever been in a doctor's office and felt less like a person and more like, well, a collection of symptoms and test results? Today, we're going to explore this really subtle but incredibly important tension in modern medicine, the difference between seeing a patient and truly seeing the human being behind the diagnosis.
Okay, so let's just dive right in. This slide lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the patient. And what is that? It's data, it's symptoms, lab values, scans, billing codes. It's very precise, very clinical. But then you look at the other side, the human. And what's over there? Fear, personal history, relationships, a search for meaning. The entire medical system is really built to see the first portrait. But what happens when the second one gets completely ignored?
So let's dig into that first portrait, the patient. The source material has this great analogy for it. Think of it like a photorealistic image. It is incredibly accurate, it's super detailed, but ultimately, it's flat. It's just missing that third dimension, So where does creating this portrait begin? Well, it all starts right here. The system's lens, the first thing it focuses on is your symptoms. This is the entry point, the first piece of data that really kicks the whole diagnostic machine into gear.
Okay, so on top of that, we add another layer of objective data, measurements. We're talking vital signs, weight, height, all the quantifiable details that add even more precision to that photorealistic picture of the patient. And then we go even deeper, right? Down to the biochemical level. That's where we get the lab values, all the numbers from blood work and other tests. This gives it that essential layer of scientific precision, defining what's happening from the inside out.
And finally, all of this, everything, gets boiled down and organized into codes. These are the labels, the shorthand for diagnosis, for billing, for talking to other parts of the healthcare system. And just like that, the patient portrait is complete. It's categorized and it's filed away.
Now here's what's so fascinating. This intense focus on data, it isn't some kind of mistake or an accident. It's actually built into the system's DNA. The system is designed to reward precision and speed. It needs absolute clarity for a diagnosis, and it has to enforce strict protocols. So this photorealistic approach, it's built for efficiency. It's built for accuracy. It's a feature, not a bug.
So, if that's the incredibly detailed, almost perfect picture of the patient, what got left outside the frame? What's been cropped out? The subtitle here says it all. We need to talk about what's missing, because, well, it's kind of everything else. That patient portrait, it almost never captures the raw human emotion of fear, right? The anxiety about what's next, the worry about what a diagnosis really means for your life, for your family. There's just no billing code for that. It also completely misses the personal history that gives an illness its context. A person's life story, their past experiences, their beliefs, all of this shapes how they experience being sick, but it almost never makes it onto the official chart. And what about relationships? That whole complex network of people that supports us, or sometimes even strains us. Who's our caregiver? Who depends on us? This whole social part of our lives is a huge piece of the healing puzzle. And this one is so important. It overlooks a person's identity beyond their diagnosis. You're still a parent, you're an artist, a teacher, a friend. The illness is something that's happening to you. It isn't the entirety of who you are. And this is where the source material really hits the nail on the head with this quote. For decades, research in health psychology has been showing us that these human things, our beliefs, our emotions, our social support, they directly impact clinical outcomes. They affect how well we stick to treatment, how fast we recover, our quality of life. Like the slide says, these aren't just soft variables. They are clinically relevant. They're hard data. So, what happens when this gap between the patient portrait and the whole human just keeps getting wider? Well, as you can probably guess, it has some pretty serious consequences. And not just for the person who's sick, but for the doctors and nurses providing the care, too. This gap creates something the source calls relational thinning. And if you look at the definition, it's when clinicians are forced to treat people like cases. And over time, they start to feel like they're just functions, like cogs in a giant machine. This totally reframes the conversation around burnout. It suggests it's not just about being overworked, it's a crisis of human connection. So what's the fix? Well, the idea here isn't to just add more hours to an already impossible day, or to turn doctors into therapists. Instead, it's about a really fundamental shift in how we think about the entire encounter, a whole new orientation. And this slide just lays out the two approaches so clearly. The transactional approach has one goal:
find the symptom, locate the problem, and fix it. But the relational approach, it has a totally different goal: to understand the person who is carrying that problem. It's a subtle change in focus, but it completely changes the game.
This is what the source calls anthropocentric care. It's a human-centered approach. And here's the kicker. It doesn't water down the science. Actually, it strengthens it. It strengthens scientific rigor by acknowledging that our bodies don't exist in some kind of vacuum. They exist inside of contexts and minds and stories. And that right there brings us to the core argument of this whole analysis. And it's summed up perfectly on this slide. This is not a call to get rid of the amazing tools of modern science. The point is that medicine doesn't need less science. It needs more human presence to make that science truly, deeply effective.
Okay, so this brings us to what might be the most powerful and maybe the most radical idea in this entire explainer. And it's not some new technology or complicated protocol. It's actually something much simpler and way more profound. This quote, this is it. This is the solution. Just imagine a doctor or a nurse looking at a person and silently, or maybe even out loud, acknowledging this one simple truth: you are more than what brought you here. It's an act that instantly rehumanizes the whole thing. It tells the person that they are seen, not just as their diagnosis, but as a whole human being.
So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. In a system that's built for photorealistic precision, for data, and for codes, what does it really mean to look past the chart and truly see the person standing right in front of you?